Hello, welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder and Starfinder, 2nd edition. Today, we're making Kevin Levin from the world of Ben 10. Kevin starts out as a delinquent with the mutant ability to absorb energy and use it for himself. After meeting Ben Tennyson, he discovers that he can also absorb the Omnitrix's alien DNA, giving him the power to transform into twisted hybrids of Ben's aliens. However, this ability quickly spirals out of control, as his unstable body permanently mutates into a monstrous fusion of all of Ben 10's alien forms. In this form, Kevin has the combined powers of all of Ben's original aliens, Super Strength, Fire Blast, Diamond Hard Skin, and more. But in this form, Kevin loses his sanity, finding himself driven more and more by rage and lust for power. I would like to clarify that we're specifically making Kevin in his mutated form that we see in the classic series. Later on in Alien Force, he regains his original form and develops his powers further before taking on other mutations. And we just can't hope to capture all of that in a single build. But if you want to see those builds, let us know. We'd be happy to throw this character under the microscope again in the future. But otherwise, beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. So what do we need to make Mr. Roguish Charm? Well, we actually only have one goal here. We need to be able to call upon all of the aliens that the Omnitrix originally granted access to Ben. This means we need Forearm Super Strength, Diamond Head's Resilience, Accelerate Speed, Heat Blast Pyrokinesis, Stink Fly's Flight and Acid Spitting, Wild Mutt's Super Senses, and Ripjaw's Bite Attack. Technically, we also have Grey Matter, Ghost Freak, and Upgrade in there too, but Kevin hasn't clearly shown access to those powers, so while we'll pick up those abilities if they become available, we won't really worry about it if they don't. For now though, let's worry about ancestry. Kevin's species has underwent several different retcons. In the classic series, his backstory pretty much didn't exist, but in Alien Force, it was revealed that he was half human, half Osmosian. And in the Omniverse, it was revealed that that was an implanted memory, and he was actually just a human with a rare mutation that gave him the ability to absorb energy. We're going to go with the half Osmosian backstory, mostly because it means we don't have to make another human. But honestly, it really hardly matters. In this mutated form that we're building, Kevin is a mix between 10 different alien species, so we're going to have to get creative if we want to pick an ancestry choice. We can't get a 10 ancestry mix, but we can use custom mix ancestry to at least get 2. Namely the Kasatha, because it gives us our forearm body shape, and Barathu for the ability to change up our DNA. We'll get the base stats from a Kasatha, meaning 8 hit points, a medium size, 25-foot movement speed, and the alternate ability boost to gain a boost to strength and constitution. We have 4 arms, allowing us to hold up to 4 hands worth of weapons and equipment at once, but that'll pretty rarely if ever come up because none of our aliens have the power of sword on their side. Kevin grew up as a troubled kid with the power to take anything he wanted. As you can probably imagine, that got him in a little bit of trouble. So we're going to go with the prisoner background to reflect his time in all kinds of detention centers, up to and including his stint in the Null Void. This childhood wasn't all bad though. It does give us an attribute boost to strength and constitution, as well as training in stealth and the underworld lore skills, as well as the experienced smuggler's skill feat, reflecting our experience thinking contraband past watchful eyes. When the GM rolls our stealth check to see if a passive observer notices an item that we're concealing, if we roll less than a 10 on the dice, we use 10 instead. This is useful for everything from sticking matches past prison guards to selling alien weaponry to the Forever Knights underneath the plumber's nose. For our class, Kevin may have a variety of different powers, but most of those abilities boil down to some kind of unarmed strike. So we'll go with the monk class to make the most out of those unarmed strikes. As a monk, we get 10 plus con hit points per level, and expertise in all saving throws and unarmored defense. No matter what enemies throw our way, we usually have a way to deal with it. We're trained in acrobatics and athletics to reflect our speed and sheer strength, as well as intimidation for our monster's physique, and crafting because, well, we like to work on cars. Moving on to attributes, strength starts at a +4. Most of the aliens that Kevin is comprised of have some level of super strength. Dexterity is a +1. We've got accelerate super speed going for us, but we're not exactly graceful. Constitution comes in at a +3. We can't go dying in a kids show after all. And intelligence starts out at +0, but we'll be investing this more as we level up, as a nod to Grey Matter's super intelligence, because we definitely didn't inherit that species' size. Wisdom is also a +0, as we use our power it literally drains our sanity, and Charisma comes in at a +1. We've got Intimidation, but that's just about all we've got going for us on that front. Hold it. Before we jump into level 1, if you're enjoying this video and want to see 2 new character builds each week, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you never miss a single upload. Normally, I'd also tell you to drop a comment to see who you'd like to tell us next, but this time I've got a more direct question. Diving back into the world of Ben 10 has stirred up a bit of nostalgia for me, and once we wrap up this month of villains, I'd really like to make a build for Ben himself. There's just one problem. The Omnitrix gives us way too many powers to fit into a single character sheet. Where we could go the route of making him a druid, focusing on different wild shapes to represent each of his aliens, that makes it tough to give every form its moment in the spotlight. Or we could take the opposite approach and build each alien individually. Aliens like Wrath and Alien X are basically entirely different characters anyway. But at that rate, we would never finish all the aliens, and plenty of aliens would just get unbuilt. So, I'll leave it up to you. How do you think we should approach this? Should we build Ben himself, or focus on each alien one by one? Or maybe you've got a different idea altogether. Let me know in the comments, or just tell me that you don't want to see a Ben 10 video at all. That also helps us out. Anyway, I've taken up too much of your time. Let's get back to the video. At level 1, monks don't get a subclass, which already makes our job a lot easier. We only have to cover Powerful Fists and Flurry of Blows. Powerful Fist lets us ignore the non-lethal trait on our unarmed strikes, and bump up our fist damage from D4s to D6s. Kevin isn't exactly the type to pull his punches, especially not in his mutant form. Flurry of Blows lets us make 2 unarmed strikes with a single action. Both attacks take the normal multiple attack penalty, but if they hit the same target, we combine the damage before applying weaknesses and resistances. Sure, we could just lean into Forearm's brute strength, but this ability will really start to shine once we start working in some of Kevin's other alien-inspired attacks. For example, the Tentacle Whip Ancestry feat makes a great stand-in for Ghost Freak's tentacles, giving us a tentacle attack that deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage and has the finesse and reach traits, letting us make melee attacks while staying safely out of range from counterattacks. Just beware that without the Agile trait, we give up a little bit of accuracy for that increased range. Finally, we'll pick up the Key Spells class feat to get the Key Rush focus spell for some accelerated super speed. By spending a focus point, we can stride or step twice with a single action, moving so fast that enemies can barely keep up, giving us a concealment trait until our next turn. We'll pick up the Barbarian Dedication level 2, letting us fly into a rage as a single action. While raging, we take a -1 penalty to AC, and can't use any action with the Concentrate trait. But we gain temporary hit points equal to our Constitution modifier, and deal +2 damage on all of our melee strikes, or half that on attacks that have the Agile trait. We'll also take Titan Wrestler, in case we ever need to go toe-to-toe with Way Big. This skill feat lets us disarm, grapple, reposition, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 size categories larger than us, or 3 size categories larger once we hit Legendary in Athletics. At level 3, we pick up Mystic Strikes, making all of our unarmed attacks count as magical for overcoming resistances. Sure, magic is something completely different in the Ben 10 universe, but maybe we've teamed up with Charmcaster or something. Much more fitting for this character, though, is the incredible movement feature, giving us a +10-foot status bonus to our speed now, and increasing that bonus as we level up. This means that we can rely on our super speed consistently, instead of just in short bursts with the Key Rush spell. Or, better yet, combine the two for some truly ridiculous velocity. Finally, we'll pick up the Toughness feat, giving us +1 hit point per level, and reducing the DC of any recovery checks we make by 1. Not quite Diamond Head level durability yet, but we'll get there soon enough. And by soon enough, I mean right now, because we get the Barbarian Resilience feat at level 4, increasing our maximum hit points by 3 for every Barbarian feat that we take. And Kevin is angry enough for a lot of Barbarian feats. We also get Intimidating Glare, removing the penalty for not sharing a language with our target when we demoralize, and swaps out the auditory trait for the visual trait, letting us intimidate with nothing more than a glare. That's where the name comes from. At level 5, we get Molecular Modification, granting us resistance equal to half our level against our choice of acid, bludgeoning, cold, electricity, fire, piercing, poison, slashing, or sonic damage. Honestly, it's hard to pick just one type that Kevin would be resistant to. Any of these are fair game, so you're pretty much in character no matter how much you decide to metagame here. We also get Perception Expertise, which is pretty self-explanatory, and Expert Strikes, which boosts our strike proficiency to Expert, and grants us the critical specialization effect for any of our unarmed strikes that are in the Brawling group. When we critically hit with one of these attacks, the target must make a Fortitude save against our class DC, or be slowed 1 as we knock the wind out of them. Keep in mind, this only applies to unarmed strikes in the Brawling group, which for now is all of them, but it's worth keeping an eye on when we layer on other unarmed strikes later on. Like with feats like Instinct Ability at level 6, giving us our Barbarian Instinct's Instinct Ability. We hadn't picked one yet because it wasn't relevant, but now we're looking into the Shark Animal Instinct, giving us a 1d10 piercing damage Jaws attack with a grapple trait. Perfect for some Rip Jaws action. That means we now have 3 go-to attacks whenever we make a strike. A Jaws attack for maximum damage, a Tentacle attack for medium damage and extended reach, or a Fist attack for faster, more accurate strikes that deal slightly less damage. For our skill feat, we'll grab Quick Climb, giving us +5 feet of movement on a successful climb check, and +10 feet on a critical success. And once we reach Legendary in Athletics, we can skip the check altogether, gaining a climb speed equal to our land speed. Turns out, having 4 super strong arms really helps when scaling walls. Level 7 monks get weapon specialization for increased damage on all of our strikes, and our first Path of Perfection, increasing a saving throw of our choice to Master and bumping up all successes with that saving throw to critical successes. I think a point can be made for either reflex saves or fortitude saves, but will saves are pretty definitively off the table. I'm going to go with fortitude saves because there are far more aliens that have super durability than have super speed. Finally, we'll get the Die Hard feat, letting us survive to dying 5 rather than dying 4, so that we can survive even the Omnitrix exploding on us. At level 8, we'll pick up Acute Scent through the basic Fury class feat, letting us tap into Wild Mutt's Super Sense for an imprecise scent sense out to a range of 30 feet. And Quick Swim channels our inner Rip Jaws for an extra distance on all of our checks to swim, and eventually a swim speed of our very own. Level 9 monks get Monk Expertise and Metal Strikes, counting our unarmed strikes as both Cold Iron and Silver when it comes to bypassing resistances. And the Ancestry feat Convergent Evolution. This will be the key to the entire build, letting us use 3 additional ancestries which we can take ancestry feats from as we go forward, as well as giving us an immediate ancestry feat at 5th level or lower from one of those ancestries. Venom Spit from the Nagaji ancestry gives us access to yet another unarmed attack. This time, we'll go with Stinkfly's Slime Spit, as a ranged unarmed attack with a range increment of 10 feet that deals 1d4 poison damage. This attack isn't in the Brawling group, so it doesn't apply the normal critical specialization, but it does inflict persistent poison damage equal to the number of weapon dice the attack dealt in the first place. We'll double down on Stinkfly's power set with the Wind Jump class feat at level 10, granting us flight speed equal to our land speed for 1 minute. There's a catch though. We must end each of our turns on the ground or we'll fall. Most flight-based aliens are built for the skies, but Kevin's mutated body isn't exactly aerodynamic, and I'm sure that Diamond Head's bones weigh a little more than Stinkfly's. For this level skill feat, we'll take Intimidating Prowess, giving us a +2 circumstance bonus to intimidation checks, as long as we can physically menace our foes. Physically menacing our foes is like 2/3 of what we do. I think we've got that covered. At level 11, we get another Path of Perfection, this time improving our reflex saves to Master Proficiency. We also get a general feat, but we'll use Ancestral Paragon to swap that out for an Ancestry feat. This time, we'll grab Energy Beam from the Automaton Ancestry, giving us a Heat Blast style Fire Blast. Functioning almost identically to Venom Spit, except it has a 20-foot range increment and deals fire damage instead of poison. Level 12 brings us No Escape from the Barbarian feat list. Now, whenever an enemy tries to move away from us, we can use our super speed to chase them down as a reaction, moving up to our speed. This is pretty terrifying on Barbarian, but as a monk, our movement speed is already 45 feet per action, and that's only going to get faster as we level up further. For a skill feat, we'll take Pickpocket, letting us palm a closely guarded object without the usual -5 penalty. Kevin may be a giant mutated powerhouse now, but he's still got plenty of criminal experience, plus he's 1/10 ghost. At level 13, our Fire Blasts get a serious upgrade with Lesser Augmentation, boosting the damage of our energy beams from D4s to D6s. Level 13 monks also gain Graceful Mastery and Master Strikes, giving us Master Proficiency in both our strikes and unarmored defense. So whether you're taking hits from the likes of Vilgax or throwing your own superpowered haymakers, you better believe that we'll be making our mark on the battlefield. At level 14, we pick up Dodging Roll, another perfect reaction for accelerated super speed. Whenever we take damage from an area effect that allows a reflex save, we can immediately use our reaction to step and gain resistance to that effect's damage equal to our level. And if our step moves us out of the area entirely, that resistance increases to our level plus our dexterity modifier. For this level skill feat, we'll get Deadlift, letting us carry 8 more bulk than normal before becoming encumbered, and upgrading to 10 bulk at the next level when we reach Legendary in Athletics. The trade-off is this feat pushes our body to its absolute limit. After 1 minute of this lifting, we become fatigued for 10 minutes, which wouldn't be so bad if it didn't give us a -1 status penalty to all of our defenses and prevent us from going into a rage. At level 15, we gain our third Path of Perfection, this time boosting our Fortitude saves to Legendary Proficiency, and letting us treat all critically failed Fortitude saves as regular failures, and letting us take only half damage from those failed Fortitude saves. We also pick up Greater Weapon Specialization for even more damage, plus a general feat, which we'll use to grab Fleet, adding another 5 feet of movement to our speed. At this point, this fall of a boost feels a little bit redundant in the grand scheme of things, but Kevin is nothing if not thorough with his power grabs. We'll once again be grabbing Advanced Fury at level 16, this time to grab the Furious Bully class feat, giving us a +2 circumstance bonus to our athletics checks for attack actions that grapple, trip, and shove while raging, letting us use our size and raw power to dominate our foes. We also pick up Cloud Jumps, tripling the distance of all of our long jumps, and letting us high jump as far as we could previously long jump without the tripling. This isn't really as impressive as normal, considering we can already fly with a wind jump spell, but sometimes you just don't want to spend the extra action to set up. Level 17 monks gain Adamantine Strikes, letting our attacks count as adamantine for overcoming resistances, and Graceful Legend, boosting our unarmored defense to legendary. For our Ancestry feat, we'll take Manifold Modifications, granting us 2 more Ancestry feats at level 13 or lower. This time, we'll be grabbing Spine Stabber from the Shisk Ancestry for those Diamond Head style spikes, giving us yet another unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage and has the Finesse trait. There's not much of a reason to use the strike, at least not until we pick up our next feat, Quill Spray. With this feat, once per day, we can unleash a volley of diamond shards in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must attempt a basic reflex save against our class DC or take 9d8 piercing damage, and on a critical failure, they also take persistent bleed damage. Diamond Fist at level 18 adds the forceful and deadly D10 traits to all of our unarmed strikes. The flavor here is supposed to be representing our body hardening after years of training, but we literally have an arm made of diamonds. For this level skill feat, we'll grab Quick Jump, cutting the time it takes to high jump or long jump down to a single action rather than 2, and preventing us from needing to get a running start to make those jumps. Level 19 monks gain the Perfected Form feature. The first time each turn that we roll a strike, if the die roll shows less than a 10, we can treat it as if we rolled a 10 instead, and then add our attack modifiers to that. By this point, we've been in enough fights with plumbers to know that we can't whiff our big hits. On top of that, the Catfall skill feat lets us use our wings mixed with a legendary acrobatic score to effortlessly cushion any fall, no matter the distance. And that gets even better at level 20 with the Rolling Landing skill feat, letting us use our reaction to turn what would have been fall damage into a full stride. And that stride doesn't provoke enemy reactions because we're legendary in acrobatics. Finally, we'll cap off this build with Enduring Quickness, making us permanently quickened every round. This gives us an extra action that we can use to step, leap, high jump, or long jump, letting us merge our devastating offenses and our superhuman mobility into one terrifying package. And that wraps up our build on Kevin Levin in 2nd edition. A one-man army made of muscle, diamonds, and pure attitude. From Ripjaw's ferocity to Diamond Head's durability to Accelerate speed, we've covered it all. If you enjoyed this build, drop a like. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to see any other characters from Ben 10 or any other universe, make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on so that you never miss a new video. But until next time, keep rolling high, and we'll catch you in the next one.